On May 14, 2008, at 1:54 in the morning, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson called his parents. He wasn't panicking, he wasn't confused. His voice was steady and calm. He said his car had slid into a ditch, but he was okay. He just needed a ride home. His parents, Brian and Annette, got into their truck and started driving to find him. The phone stayed connected the entire time. Brandon believed he was near the small town of Lind in Minnesota. He described gravel roads, fields of tall grass, a distant cluster of lights he thought was the town. His parents drove exactly where he told them to, but he wasn't there. They flashed their headlights, they honked the horn, they called his name through the night air. Brandon heard none of it, because he was nowhere near Lind. But no one knew that yet. The land there is flat, wide, silent. At night, everything disappears into darkness. So Brandon began to walk. He said he would meet them by the lights he saw in the distance. He believed they were from the town. His father stayed on the phone with him, step by step, breathing in the quiet dark. They talked about normal things, school, summer plans. He never once sounded scared. Brandon described crossing a fence. He mentioned the field was uneven. He could feel tall grass brushing his legs. His father listened to his footsteps, soft, steady, moving forward. For 47 minutes they stayed connected. A father driving in the night, a son walking through empty fields, both trying to reach each other. No panic, no confusion. Just the quiet voice of a young man trying to get home. And then suddenly Brandon said, "Oh, shit." And the call went silent. Not disconnected, not dropped. The line stayed open. His father kept calling his name. "Brandon? Brandon? Talk to me." Nothing. Just quiet wind and open land. The phone stayed connected for several hours, but Brandon never spoke again. The next morning, police began to search. They found his car. But it was 20 miles from where he thought he was, on the opposite side of the county. That meant Brandon had been walking in a direction that led deeper into farmland, away from roads, away from houses, away from anything. Search teams swept the fields. Volunteers lined up shoulder to shoulder. Helicopters scanned from above. Tracking dogs picked up Brandon's scent. They followed his path, through the ditch, across the gravel road, over the fence, through tall grass. Every detail matched what he had described on the phone. Then the scent trail continued toward a small river. The dogs indicated that Brandon had reached the riverbank, and then crossed it. Searchers focused on the river, believing he may have slipped or drowned. But the dogs did not stop at the river. They continued on the other side. That means Brandon crossed the river successfully, while still on the phone. And yet after that moment, no one knows what happened next. There are no footprints, no clothing, no wallet, no phone, no remains, nothing. 16 years later, nothing has ever been found. No confirmed sighting, no evidence of foul play, no sign of an accident. Just a final breath, a quiet stumble, a sudden startled whisper, "Oh, shit," and then silence. There are theories. Some believe Brandon collapsed from exhaustion, but his scent trail continued well beyond the river, and a collapse in open land leaves remains. None were ever found. Others believe he fell into a ravine, but the land was searched thoroughly many times over many years. Some believe he encountered someone out there, because that final reaction did not sound like a slip, or a fall, or fear of the dark. It sounded like surprise, like he saw something, or someone, something unexpected, something he did not have time to describe. Whatever Brandon saw in that moment happened fast. His father says he will never forget the sound of his voice. Calm, steady, alive, until it wasn't. Brandon Swanson was never found. And somewhere in the quiet farmland of Minnesota, on a warm night in May, a boy walked into the dark and did not return.